Welcome to the Kingdom Corner. I'm Andrew, and with me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Dale Baker, coming from the metropolis of Maryville, Missouri. How are we doing today?
Hey man, fall is in the air. I mean, we are full football. Week 3 wrapping up here tonight. We got Monday night games, but my goodness, Victory Monday. Always good to see you on a Victory Monday.
That's right. That's right. And best season of the year, too, right? So, right here in the middle of football season. Maybe not the middle,
Yes.
but we're at least in football season. So, best season of the year. So, today we're going to be looking back at the Sunday night game against the Falcons and what went well, what maybe we need to improve on, which might be a lot. So, but we'll also be tackling a question: why is there so much field goals being scored this year instead of touchdowns? Should the league do something about that? All that and more coming right up.
Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking right side. He wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown! Kansas City. The game is over. The Kansas City Chiefs are champions.
How about those Chiefs?
All right, Dale. So let's jump into this Falcons game.
Yes.
The offense, let's just start with that. The offense looked good to start the game, other than
Yeah.
Mahomes' interception on the first drive, but they moved down the field. And then as the game progressed, it seemed like they didn't make adjustments, or maybe the Falcons made better adjustments and they
Right.
struggled.
Yeah. I think and it was like different points of the game or different points of the game. Yeah. The offense looked great. I mean, it was moving the ball. Then they just came stagnant, or a couple plays didn't work. Still don't look like. I mean, even Mahomes said he's not playing his best football right now, and so that's scary for the league. And then also, it's just good that we're getting wins, stacking those wins up. It doesn't matter how you win them. No one remembers those in January and February. And so, as long as we can be there, I think we got a great shot with the quarterback we have.
Well, you brought up Patrick Mahomes, so let me ask you this question. I agree. Patrick Mahomes, how would you rank his play so far this season, only
Yeah.
considering this season? Is he even a top 5 quarterback so far this year?
Well, we had high hopes for. We both thought he was going to be the 2018 Pat Mahomes, airing the ball out, throwing it, and so far, I mean, the defense is just not giving him those looks. The dink and dunk, which I think is a lot harder to do. Manage a game when you're doing that, but I would give Pat a C plus quarterback play right now. So I don't think he would be a top 5 quarterback with his numbers, but definitely a top 5 quarterback. Number one, I would still take overall everybody else.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would agree. I'd still going to take him first because of his potential.
Yeah.
But so far this year, I don't know that he's a top 10 quarterback yet.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know how his numbers compare to everybody else, but just real quick looking, his QBR is number 18th in the league right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's 10th in yards. He's tied for 4th in touchdowns, and there's still more games to go tonight, too. So that could move down. And his interceptions apparently are not too bad because he's way down the list compared to some of the
there you go.
others. So I'm not sure what ESPN means by this, but interception, it says he's tied for 43rd. Not sure how that happens out of 32 teams, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some teams have had
Backups.
multiple quarterbacks and things like that, but
Thank goodness for Caleb Williams playing.
yeah, no doubt.
Oh, I'm just joking. No, I'm just joking. But seriously. But yeah, so I mean, and I think it's just taking time to get rolling. Especially, we got to remember there's still a lot of new offensive pieces to this team as well. I mean, you're bringing Juju back in, Xavier Worthy, Rashid Rice second year, and then you have Travis Kelce, who is now Houdini.
Yeah. And I finish up Patrick Mahomes real quick too. I would say this too. So Mahomes has struggled, but usually when Mahomes gets his back into a wall, like he goes to the lab, right? And he starts working even harder until he figures it out.
Yeah.
And just watching even the game yesterday, there's a lot of times he was missing throws.
Yeah.
And there's many times, especially even his interceptions, or one and should have been more. He was underthrowing guys. Like, you don't see him underthrowing guys very much, but he underthrew guys. He underthrew Xavier Worthy cutting across the back of the end zone in the first quarter, which should have been intercepted, but wasn't. The one he did get intercepted on, he underthrew. On the fourth, in the fourth quarter, on that final drive on third down when he threw it to Rashid Rice. I mean, it was so a catchable ball because he got his hands on it, but it was not an easy catch because he threw it behind the guy on his back shoulder when he's cutting across. Those are not easy catches, and those are on Mahomes.
Yeah.
And yes, you want your guys to be able to make those catches anyways, but your quarterback's got to give you at least a semi-catchable ball, and those are very difficult, even for professionals.
Yeah, 100%. And so, yeah, and he kind of talked about that in his post game where he was saying, "Hey, I got to get my feet. My feet aren't right, and when I'm throwing, I'm not throwing. I'm relying too much on my arm." And so, to your point, I think he's going to get back in the lab and figure out some of those things and like get better mechanics on those throws.
Yep. And so Rashee Rice, though, man, that guy
Whew.
looks like he might be the next superstar in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a number one for sure, and they're going to have to stop triple and doubling cover Kelsey and start cheating over there and this way he gets the ball and the run after catch he gets you could almost think like every time he's going to break one down the sideline. I mean, his spin move, he's like a washing machine out there, spin move after spin move, and he's just running hard. So it's great to see.
Well, to your point, Rashee Rice had 110 yards. 75 of those yards were after the catch.
Yeah.
75.
Yeah. And so
Yeah, so he had 35 yards catching total before yards after the run. So that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and so, but then talking about Xavier Worthy for a second, like that guy, I think the reason, like people were expecting him to have a much larger role. I thought he would too. And you can see they're trying to get him the ball early and trying to get him moving. But I think a lot of the reason he's not getting the ball is he's struggling to pick up the offense.
Yeah.
I think he is like, we saw even on that last fourth quarter drive where he's trying to hit Xavier Worthy and Worthy just stopped running.
Yeah.
Like wasn't even where he's supposed to be. Like, I don't know what he saw, but he just stopped running. There's nobody in front of him. If he catches that running, he's going to get a good chunky yards, and he just stopped.
And it was like if he would have kept going, Rashee Rice was right in front of him and then could have blocked, and that who knows what that play would have been with his speed. I mean, just could have been right down the sideline and put that game to bed, and my score would have been right.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, we both got the 17 right.
Yeah, we did both get the 17 right.
Just didn't get the Chiefs' final score right. So
no.
But hey, the other flip side, Carson Steele getting his first start, and I guess before we move on from the receivers, Juju showed up for the first time. His first catch this year goes for a touchdown. So I think we're gonna start seeing a little bit more of that, especially if Xavier Worthy's not gonna be able to get open and figure it out. I think Juju's gonna. I'm not saying he's going to be a number one receiver or anything like that, but he's going to play a good role.
Oh, yeah.
Once again. So,
well, he's going to be open, I think, because so much attention is going to put on Xavier just because of speed. And then Rashid, obviously, because he's a volume catcher right now. And then Travis Kelce, they're putting attention on. So I think Juju can get in a rhythm. I mean, we do have the weapons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and then you have that running game that, you have to respect at least because you were about to talk about Carson Steele. Shout out, missing his sister's wedding for the Chiefs. And what kind of sister plans a wedding in the fall for a football player? I mean, did she not have faith that he was going to make a team?
Apparently not. Apparently they're like, you know what? We don't think you're going to make it to the NFL, bro. So we're going to plan our wedding. I hope you should be there.
Yeah. In this sense, Steele reminds me of Pacheco, and says Pacheco doesn't make like a lot of side to side moves. It's just, hey, I'm going to see a hole and I'm going to hit the hole, and that's what Carson Steele does. And so I really like that. It's kind of like a Derrick Henry-esque. He says, hey, there's the hole. I'm going for it, because Derrick Henry gets in trouble when he goes side to side, and I think Pacheco does too. I think a lot of running backs do, but
Steele does cut more than Pacheco, but he does run more downhill or as much as Pacheco does too.
Yeah.
So I like his running style. Especially there towards the fourth quarter, the defense getting tired. He's starting to really get some big chunk yards there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting 5, 7, 8 yards every time he touched the ball in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Other than when you get down to like the goal line, like the Falcons defense, to their credit, their short yardage and goal line defensive line played lights out. I mean, we could not penetrate their D line on short yardage to save our life.
No.
So, I mean, we had 3rd and 1, got half a yard, 4th and 1, got barely half a yard to get the first down. I mean, they almost stopped us on on that one
Right.
even. So,
well, I was waiting to see that quick out. You know what they used to do with Travis, or not Tyreek Hill.
yeah.
They used to do that quick out and then get that 1 yard, all they need, and so it's just so hard to guard. Why don't we put that in the playbook for Xavier? I mean, just get that quick.
Hey, don't think it's not in there.
Well, it's in there, but let's call it. Let's call it Nags. Let's call it Matt Nagy.
Hey, it's in there. But I'm just saying, the running game was working very well in the fourth quarter. So they're like, hey, let's go to what's working right now, and this is what's working. So, but we'll see what happens with all that. But then the other side, so the offense has been struggling. They can't quite get their heads together. So what has to happen for this offense to get going? Like, what are they going to have to do?
Man, I think Collinsworth, as much as I love Collinsworth, I think he almost nailed it because he said when Travis Kelce gets going, it seems like the offense gets going. And I think that's really true. And so I think to get it fixed, I think we got to get Travis Kelce going. And then I think the rest of the offense, it seems like it just rolls when he's catching. And I think case in point was that second half. They got him involved. I think they targeted him twice. He caught it twice. I mean, not for big yards, but he made some plays. And then, the running game. And then they got down there and they scored. So,
although he did drop it on a third down conversion there that would have potentially sealed the game earlier up with the offense instead of the defense.
Well, that was later on in the game. I'm talking about the second half.
This is the second half.
That's the start of the second half.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I've been also impressed with, and I think like Andy Reid's play calling or aggressiveness, saying, "Hey, let's." Early on in the games, sometimes we saw Andy. He's very conservative, even though people think he likes to air it out, but he's very conservative a lot of times, and he was like going for it on fourth down in the first drive. I'm like, well, who? What? I think we would kick a field goal. I'm all for it too. I'm all for it when you have 15 back there making decisions.
Apparently, he should have because Mahomes threw an interception. No. Hey,
no, I know.
We're so glad that Harrison Butker's on our team, but I'd rather him not be the offensive player of the week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I saw that he overtook Travis Kelce in points. So that's kind of sad.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, kickers get a lot more opportunities usually than some of these others.
Yeah.
It happens. But all right. Well, I think the Chiefs offense, they also have to figure out their red zone offense. Like that is the thing that they are struggling with the most, it seems like. They get down there, and I think they're 50% yesterday for red zone touchdowns. But, I mean, you wanted that to be closer to 75% at least. I mean, 50% is going to trend you towards the bottom of the league. And last year, we had one of the worst red zone offenses as well.
Right.
And it seems like we haven't corrected any of that. So, man, they got to figure something out with all that because
the good news is that I think the good news is the league is trying to figure that out, right? I think we were like highest in field goals ever in the first couple of weeks in the NFL, and so I think everyone's kind of struggling. I think the defense all around the league has figured something out and saying, okay, we can lock down, and so making it harder for quarterbacks to move the ball.
Well, don't you worry. We're going to jump into that here in just a second.
All right.
But first, let's talk about our defense and finish this game up. So, our defense...
which maybe we should have started with because they're the highlight.
Oh, no. I want to end with them. I want to end on a good note.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not going down. I mean, don't you want your good news last instead of first?
Yeah, normally.
Okay. Well, that's what we're doing today, at least.
There you go.
All right. So, our defense. So, first off, Chris Jones always seems to get a phantom roughing the passer call at some point every year, right? And so we stopped them on a third down, and then Chris Jones gets this call of roughing the passer, and you can see he was pretty livid about it.
Oh, yeah.
Rightfully so. He laid the guy down, as if to cradle him to not get a foul, and he's got there within half a step and got a roughing the passer call.
Yeah.
And in fairness, they called a roughing the passer against Mahomes earlier in the game that I also did not think was roughing the passer. But that one didn't have an impact on the game because the Chiefs scored a touchdown either way, and they just basically had a closer field goal for an extra point. So but the Chiefs one against Chris Jones absolutely affected the game because that would have forced a punt, and instead they got 15 more yards, and they end up going down and getting a touchdown on that drive. So but outside of that, Chris Jones had one pressure the entire game.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and that was kind of wild because he can pick his spots. But your guy Wharton
I
with
know.
you mentioned that last pod. You mentioned the last pod where he said, "Hey, he has the second most pressures," and he had a big pressure that we got points by the end of the half because of that field goal. So,
Yep, he did. I mean,
interception field goal, man, that's great.
it's almost like we have good information on this podcast that people need to hear. So
Spread the word. Spread the
hey,
word.
spread the word. Spread the word. Hey, but then also our guy Felix got his first full sack of his
Oh
young
yeah,
career. So I think he had half a sack at some point last year, but his first full sack
yeah.
that also resulted in that fumble that ended up getting kicked out of bounds, which I really think the Chiefs would have recovered that. There were two guys
Well,
jumping
that
for it,
yeah. Oh, there
and
was
so he still had a strip sack though. I mean, he got there so quick. There's nobody
yeah.
that touched him, but he got there so quick
Right. Yeah.
and just demolished Kirk Cousins. Had no clue he was even coming and just lit him up. I mean,
Yeah.
well done, Felix. Good job.
Yeah.
We hope to see more of that from you in the future. So, but yeah, that was an unfortunate play getting kicked out of bounds. I thought the Chiefs
Well,
should have
that's
got the ball really close there, and they did it purposefully. He's like, we'd rather take penalty, move back, and punt the ball than give it to him right here. But I don't know, just me being bitter is all that is.
well, I think the rules committees need to take a look at that. I mean, you intentionally kick it out of bounds. It should be just a turnover.
Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all.
Because you don't see that very often where a player kicks it out of bounds. And like that Robinson, he just punted. He
Man,
knew. He knew.
oh, he knew because
He
there were
knew that
two guys jumping for it that were therefore he
right.
didn't even try to go down. He just
He
threw his
yeah.
foot, kicked it purposefully. But in basketball how they have jump balls and stuff.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
starting to think that the NFL should do something. They would never do this, but line up the two guys who are going for it, Oklahoma drill. Who
Oh,
gets
there
the
you
ball.
go. I like it.
I mean,
I like
you want to talk about people tuning in to watch a game? People will tune in just to watch that. It's like, man,
yeah.
are we going to get any Oklahoma drills in this game? Lining up two guys, facing each other with the,
Yeah.
get some short borders there, and they run at each other, for those who don't know, and see
Yeah.
who wins.
There you go.
I mean, your concussion rate's going to go out.
Yeah, out the wazoo. Yeah,
but man, it'd be entertaining to watch.
There you go. So yeah, the defense is the highlight of the Kansas City Chiefs again. I mean, the last 9 games, I feel like they've won it for us. We haven't blown anybody out by any means, but we've controlled games. I felt like that Ravens game we controlled for the most part. But yeah, so our defense is playing lights out, and our safeties, our young corners and safeties. I know our corner Johnson, is it Johnson? Got beat early, pretty bad. But I feel like they're sure tacklers. They tackle when it comes. And then I'm always impressed with our safeties. I mean, do you think Reed may be our third best safety right now at this point? And that's not a bad thing. I'm not taking shots. I'm just saying
I know you have Brian Cook. Who else do you have in front of him?
Connors.
Oh, well, Connors is in a safety. He plays more of a cornerback.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Sometimes he is lined up further back. I'll give you that. So how they're lined up, he sometimes lined him in that safety position, but they have him listed as a cornerback.
He's having a year, Connors.
Hey, do you think they knew? And taking nothing away from what's happening now, we're against Snead from last year, but do you think they knew what they had, and that's why they were willing to let Snead go?
Oh yeah,
like they're like, you know what? As great as Snead is, we can save some money, and we have some great young cornerbacks who are becoming into their own. I mean, Jalen Watson's playing good.
Yeah,
Connor's playing good. That Najee Johnson, this is his first. He got injured like in preseason last year, so it's really his rookie year.
Yeah.
And he's going to figure it out. But a lot of people are really high on him. I know Spags is really high on him. So,
and then McDuffie. Don't forget about McDuffie.
Oh yeah, McDuffie is lockdown cornerback here.
Right.
So, I'll say this: the Chiefs' defense. One of the things we talked about is they've been giving up so many yards to tight ends.
Yeah.
Other than one big play.
Yeah.
Like they held their tight ends in check last night. So they had one huge play that, was a missed tackle, which gave them a huge 50-yard gain.
Right.
But outside that 50-yard, he had one other catch for 9 yards. So
yeah, that's pretty good. And I mean that tight end is pretty good. He's a pretty good tight end.
Oh yeah. So to what we talked about last time, Spags knew that was a problem, and he figured some things out.
Right.
And also our linebackers are starting to play a little better in that position. And so speaking of our linebackers,
Nick Bolton,
Nick Bolton, my man,
yeah.
this guy right here.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Nick Bolton. I mean, my guy's showing up fourth quarter in the red zone, got to hold him out of the end zone to win the game. They're going for it on fourth down, and my boy, Nick Bolton, runs through that line like a bullet and says, not today, sir. Not today.
Yeah, man. They forgot to block 32.
I know.
I feel like that's a guy you should know where he's at on the field.
That's the guy who's going to make the most sure tackle of anybody on our team.
Right.
So him and Justin Reed, I'm not saying they never miss, but those two guys, Justin Reed and Nick Bolton, are the two guys I feel like make the most sure tackles of anybody on the team.
Right.
So if you were going to do a running play, especially that linebacker who's hunting for your running back, you got to get a hat on him.
Right, which our defensive line did great by just walking down the line and then giving them that hole to get in, and I was surprised. I was surprised they ran it there, especially with their offensive line injuries. I think they had 2 offensive linemen go down in the game.
Yep.
So I was surprised they ran it. I'm surprised they didn't do a quick throw. But hey, I was surprised on a lot of the coaching decisions by Atlanta Falcons. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I'm still under the belief that a lot of coaches in the NFL, not that they're not good coaches,
right?
They're not as elite as some people think they are. And I'm not trying to knock people because they got a position, I don't. But some of the decisions that some of these coaches make just make no sense, and they cost their team games.
Right.
Like take for example the Ravens. They should be running the ball a lot more. And yesterday against the Cowboys, they ran on like 75% of their plays and they won the game.
Yeah.
Now they let the Cowboys back into the game at the end, but that's what they should have been doing for every game so far, and they probably would have won at least one more game. I'm not going to say they would have beat the Chiefs because they ran a lot against the Chiefs.
No. But I feel like we had a plan. We had a plan for Derrick Henry, not so much Lamar, but we had a plan for Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So
some of these coaches I don't understand. So every coach has their fault. Andy Reid's fault is that when it gets to the fourth quarter and the Chiefs have a lead, he's not going to call plays to get you down the field. He's just going to run, pass. And he's got to pass on the third one only because he hasn't gained enough on the first two plays to try to run it again. Yeah. So that's what it is. So, but
I thought we did back to the offense. I thought we did well with being ahead of the sticks. I mean, a lot of the it was short yardage.
Yeah.
Third downs were short yards. It wasn't like 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 12. It was, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, just we need to convert those more consistently. So I think we're 6 for 13 or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I knew that we even tweeted this out on our account on the X. I guess not tweeted out, posted it on X.
Posted it on X. Come on.
There you go. I know. Got to get here at the Times.
Elon, baby. Come on.
I know. But we even put out there, it's like, hey, if the Chiefs don't get a first down, if they don't move the ball down the field here in this last drive, Kirk Cousins is very capable of leading a fourth quarter touchdown drive to win the game. And he almost did, outside of, a couple great plays by our defense who's just playing lights out, to your point. But, those are some of those things that have got to be cleaned up, though. Both some of those penalties by the defense, even though some of those weren't really there, but they were called anyway, so I don't know how you clean those ones up. But some of the others have got to be cleaned up, and the offense has got to figure out how to get the ball moving down the field. If we want to, and we've said this before, and I'll say again, good teams find ways to win close.
Yeah, and I think that's what we have. We have a good team, and it's a whole team effort. I mean, Bucker kicking field goals, the defense showing up, and then at least the offense is putting points on. I think 2 touchdowns on the night, and then a bunch of field goals. But
I don't know that I'd say the offense is doing very much right now.
You don't think they're holding up their end of the deal?
No, I don't. I think
I
the
mean,
defense has had to bail them out. I mean, in one of our previous games, the defense had to score a touchdown in order for us to win.
Well, that is true. But I will say, like, the offense is at least holding on to the ball. It's I felt like last year they had a lot of quick possessions, but this year I feel like they're at least making progress because I think, if I remember right, looking up, the Falcons had a total of 56 plays.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs had a total of 72 plays on offense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, like they're holding on to the ball. And then the time possession was 35 minutes, Chiefs, 25 Falcons. So, I mean, like, they're maybe not, but they're moving the ball. I mean, the first drive ended in a pick, right? But it was like a 13 play, 6-minute drive. And then, obviously you got to convert those. It'd be nice to end up with 7 points than 0 and a turnover.
So it's okay to have a big time possession as long as you don't get any points, huh? That's your holding up your end of the bargains. Like, hold on to the ball. I don't care if you score, but just hold on to the ball.
Well, it's better holding on to the ball than putting your defense out there and them playing 72, plays or 70, 80 plays,
Hey,
So yeah.
I'm just saying you got to have both. You can't just like pick one and say, as long as you have the ball, you're holding up your end of the bargain. You got to put in points too, bud.
Everyone gets a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy. This is the new era, Andrew. This is the new era.
That's what they say. Hey, I'm more old school. All right, you can say what you want. No one gets a trophy. Even with our youth at church, we play games. I say, hey, sorry, you lost, bud. We have winners and losers here. There's no ties and wins and everybody wins. Like, you lost. Sorry. Have a seat. Good luck next time. So,
I told my daughter played in a basketball game and they lost, and she said, "Can we go get ice cream?" I said, "No, ice cream's for winners." And she didn't. She started crying, and I was like, "Oh, I felt bad," so we went and got ice cream.
Oh, so you caved?
Yeah, definitely caved. It was a good line. Ice cream's for winners.
Hey, that is a good line.
So not for losers. So
I might use that again too. That's good.
So
I like it.
But yeah.
Let me ask you this and move on to something else. So we talked about there's so many field goals being scored. Even last week in week 2.
Oh no.
There's more field goals. Hey, there's more field goals scored that week than any other week in NFL history. Yeah. So there's so many field goals being scored. There's not a lot of touchdowns being scored. And so the reason a lot of this is because teams are playing defense much differently than they did even 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
The Pat Mahomes effect has affected every team.
Yes.
Like, they're playing not just 2 deep safeties sometimes. Sometimes they have 3 or 4 people playing back there.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to let anything over the top. They basically think, hey, if you're going to score against us, you're going to have to earn it by moving down the field and not just in one big play. And so here's the question. So let me preface it with this too. So the NFL is all about making money. We know that.
Right.
It doesn't matter what it is. They want to make money, and they make money by getting eyes on the field. By getting eyes on the field that that gets advertisers to come in, that gets more viewers in, that gets people to buy more things, just eyes on the field. And so this dink and dunk offense, people are losing interest.
Oh, yeah.
And so my question is, do you think the NFL will or should, maybe should is a better answer because I don't know if they will.
Yeah.
Should the NFL come up with some kind of rule that basically says you can't have a certain amount of players behind, so far down the field behind the play?
Yeah.
So before the ball snapped, just like you have to have your offense lined up a certain way on the line or off the line. Should they start having a rule for defense or, beyond, say, 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage or beyond the line of scrimmage?
Yeah.
You can't have more than, one player behind that line.
Yeah,
or
I think
whatever the rule would be.
Yeah. So get rid of cover 2. Get rid of cover 2 defense, and that, or cover 3 or whatever would be where the safety you can't throw deep. Yeah, I go back and forth. Obviously, I want to that 2018, 2019 Chiefs team, just high flying, scoring 40 points, with ease, and scoring quick. I mean, it was so much fun to watch. But I think the league has already done so much for the offense that I think if they do, the quarterback you can't hit anymore, which is probably a great thing. I'm not saying that we should bring that back, but unless Chris Jones gets penalized, then we should bring it back.
That's right.
And then now, like, the corners can't touch the wide receivers. Like, I think they've done so much. I think if they keep doing, and then it's going to turn into Mickey Mouse. I think it's going to turn into a bad product. Because then it's like, what does defense even matter? If you can't do certain things. And so,
here's the thing. They don't, even though the phrases defense wins championships, offense brings viewers, offense brings money.
Yeah.
And so the offense there's a reason they've made the offense more explosive and have made rules to help the offense because they want more points.
Right.
And when you score more points, people watch more. It's like, oh man, what's going to happen? If I tune away for 5 minutes, there might be 2 scores that I miss.
Yeah.
And so they want people to be glued to their TVs to watch the whole games of any game. And so I don't know if they will, but I think that they might because they want to.
They might.
I don't know what the rule would be or how they would go about it. I haven't given that much thought to it quite yet. But if this trend continues, there's very possible that the league could make a rule to adjust how defenses are allowed to play to allow more big plays like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, that'd be crazy.
But you're on the opinion, at least, that you don't think they should either way.
I don't think they should. I think if you're not, I mean, some of those games are exciting to watch, where it's dink and like, who's going to make a mistake? I mean, like, I think it's harder to have a 13 play drive than 3 play because you just had to be so consistent and so well. I think it rewards well coached teams.
Yeah. Hey, I don't disagree with you, but let me ask you this. Do you think that the average person watching knows football well enough to know that those kind of things?
Well, maybe we don't want them watching. I know that's not the NFL stance, but like you're bored, like, I don't know, go watch badminton. There's a lot of scoring in badminton, go tune in to that. I mean, like, that's what you are looking for is points, but like, hey, it's the NFL. You can't handicap the defense that much. I mean, we're already,
Hey, I don't blame the defenses at all. They're playing to how offenses are playing too.
Right. Yeah.
So they're playing to stop the offense in whatever ways they can. And so they've realized that, you know what, if we can stop the big plays, we have a better chance of winning.
Yeah.
And so force them to go on those 10 play, 13, 15 play drives to score rather than getting it in 4 or 5 plays.
Yeah.
So I'm not of the opinion that they should change it either. I just think that if this trend continues, I'm not saying at this point they will, but if the trend continues this way, I think the NFL will try to address it at least at some point.
They'll try to do something crazy
because they want to get those viewers, and their eyes on the TV. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're a business. I don't blame them, but it'd be weird. I mean, they already changed the kickoff, and that's still weird watching the kickoff. And
I think they're probably going to change that again, anyways. They're kicking out of the end zone again. They changed that rule to encourage more returns.
Right.
And I haven't looked at the stats, but most games I've watched, they're still kicking out of the end zone. So you know what? Just take it at the 30.
Well, then it always seems like if they do return it, there's a flag, whether it's holding or blocking the back on all these on the kicking or the receiving team. It seems like there's a penalty on them, and so kind of gets negated. But yeah, I mean, it's not. It doesn't look like football.
No. Well. And these kickers are so good that even though you move them back, they're still kicking it out the end zone. So
yeah.
What you gonna do about that? NFL, who knows what they think? They're just all about the money. They're not about what's really best for the teams. They're just all about the money. So, anyways, hey, we're glad to be here on the Victory Monday, though. The Chiefs win. Can't get any better than the Chiefs Victory Monday, even if it doesn't look as pretty as we would have hoped.
Yeah.
I thought the offense was going to get rolling, and they did not quite roll as much as I was hoping or thinking that they would.
Right.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining us this episode of the Kingdom Corner. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a review for us, and share this with your friends. That's what helps us the most. So make sure you leave a review for us and give us as many stars as you are able to. 5 is the minimum, I'm pretty sure. So
there you go. Yeah.
But do it that way. That'll help us out a lot. So this episode is brought to you by Oh Hey Threads, where a portion of every purchase goes to support missions all over the world, one super softie at a time. You can find yourself your very own super soft tee at ohaythreads.com. We'll see you next time right here in the Keenum Corner.